Welcome back to the channel, brave souls. Tonight's horror story takes us beyond whispers and footsteps, into the very mind of someone who thought they were sane, until the house showed them otherwise. Plug in your headphones, turn off the lights, and settle in for a story you won't forget. This is the chilling tale of The Keeper of Hollow Pines. The Hollow Pines Psychiatric Retreat had long since been shut down. It sat atop a wooded cliff just outside the town of Nor Hollow, its Gothic spires piercing the sky, its windows like the eyes of a corpse, black, empty, accusing. Built in 1899 as a convalescence home for war veterans, it slowly transitioned into an asylum by the 1940s. And by the 70s, its reputation had become one of silence and secrecy. Patients vanished. Staff rotated constantly. But no scandal ever surfaced, only rumors. It closed in 1986. Since then, no one touched it. Not even the city. The locals said the land was cursed. The building was dangerous. It should have been torn down. But permits were always delayed. Or lost. And then came Jonah Mercer. Jonah was a clinical psychologist. Empathetic, curious, a little too confident in his own emotional boundaries. After a few years consulting in hospital trauma units, he took a break, a sabbatical, officially, to write. His fascination with psychological institutions and the line between sanity and belief led him to Hollow Pines. He had read about it online, traced the archived patient records, and even found a few surviving staff. Most refused to talk. One, a former night orderly, told him, "There's something in the walls. And something in the mirror." That only made Jonah more interested. He didn't believe in ghosts. But he did believe in shared delusions. Mass psychosis. Psychological imprinting. Perhaps, he reasoned, the fear people associated with Hollow Pines came from the patient's own trauma, etched into the walls by decades of suffering. He rented a trailer, parked it half a mile down the road, and hiked to the asylum each day for 2 weeks. He recorded his thoughts. Sketched the building. Took photos. He never went in. Not until the 15th day. The door opened on its own. It was a groaning, reluctant sound. Heavy metal hinges screaming after years of rust. Jonah hadn't touched it. He had just stood near the front steps, thinking, recording. Then it opened. Not fully. Just wide enough for a man to slip through. Jonah took it as a sign. He entered. The first floor was ruined, broken glass, cracked tiles, old patient furniture half destroyed. Pigeons scattered from the rafters as he moved through the reception hall. Dust carpeted everything like snow. But deeper in the building, the air changed. It grew cold, damp, almost sharp with a copper scent. Jonah explored the medical wing first, empty rooms with rusted bed frames. Then the therapy offices, drawers still filled with files and scattered tape reels. And then, the mirror. It hung in the center of what looked like an observation room. 7 feet tall. Wooden frame. Untouched by time. No dust. No cracks. He stepped in front of it. And saw someone behind him. He turned quickly, nothing. Just empty space. He looked again. His reflection. Alone. But his heart raced. His hands trembled. And somewhere, faintly, he heard humming. A soft, gentle tune. Like a lullaby. He left that room quickly. That night, back in the trailer, he dreamed of corridors. Long, endless hallways where doors opened into black voids. And something followed him. Always just out of sight. He woke to find muddy footprints just outside the trailer door. Child-sized. Still, he returned. He set up a camera facing the mirror. He asked questions into the empty room. Psychological triggers. Classic therapy probes. Who are you? What happened here? What do you want me to understand? Nothing. Until nightfall. He played back the recording. Silence, then breathing. Deep. Heavy. And then, a voice. You brought them back. Jonah replayed it dozens of times. An old man's voice. Not distorted. Clear. But the room had been empty. He was sure. He tried again the next day. This time, he left the camera on all day while he explored the West Wing, solitary rooms, thick doors with tiny windows, leather restraints. When he returned that night and checked the footage, he saw himself. But it wasn't him. The video showed Jonah entering the room with the mirror. Sitting in front of it. Talking to it. But Jonah had never returned to that room. Not since day one. He paused the video. Watched again. The figure was identical. Same jacket. Same hair. Same voice. But the answers were wrong. The imposter said things Jonah never thought. They won't leave me alone. They keep whispering through the glass. He said I'm next. Then, at the end of the video, the imposter stood, turned to the camera, and smiled. And for a moment, the face shifted. Twisted. Like melting wax revealing something underneath. Jonah didn't sleep that night. But he came back the next day. He couldn't stop. Inside, the layout seemed to change. Hallways stretched longer. Doors opened into different rooms than before. It felt like the building shifted around him, breathing. The humming returned, sometimes behind him, sometimes echoing from floor vents. And then came the man. Tall. Gaunt. Wearing an old orderly's coat. Skin pale. Eyes milky. Jonah saw him through the glass of a closed office. The man didn't move, just watched. He vanished when Jonah opened the door. The next day, Jonah awoke in his trailer, blood on his shirt. A deep scratch across his forearm. He didn't remember getting hurt. But a phrase had been carved into the wall of the trailer. Do not let him through. Jonah stopped going back for 3 days. But he couldn't shake the feeling. The mirror called to him. He finally returned, determined to take the mirror apart. Destroy it. But it wasn't in the room anymore. The walls were bare. He found it on the 3rd floor, propped against a windowless hallway. Lights flickered. The mirror's surface shimmered like water. Jonah approached. Behind him in the reflection, the tall man stood. This time, Jonah didn't turn around. He stared at the reflection. And the man moved closer. Jonah asked, "What do you want?" The man lifted a hand and pointed, at Jonah. Then whispered. "Your turn." The lights burst. The glass shattered. Jonah collapsed. He awoke outside. On the lawn. The building behind him was dark again. Silent. His camera was gone. His notes were gone. His voice recorder, however, remained in his pocket. He played it. Just static. Then. I see you. Jonah returned home. Left Norhollow. Tried to rebuild life. But mirrors began to behave strangely. Delayed reflections. Shadows lingering behind him. Humming from inside bathroom tiles. And always, at 3:47 a.m., a knock at his bedroom door. No one ever there. Until one night, the mirror cracked on its own. And a hand reached through. They never found Jonah. But anyone who stayed in Hollow Pines reports the same dreams. Same voice. Same knock. They say the mirror isn't in the building anymore. It walks with you. Thanks for joining me tonight. If you made it this far, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, do you believe a place can trap a person? Or worse, become them? Until next time, keep your lights on. And your mirrors, faced against the wall.